Okay, we're back. It's been a while, but yeah, we're back. So, welcome. Hope you're all doing good. I'm doing better. Luckily. Well, I'm doing better in one regard, but on another end, I'm not. But that's a whole new, whole different story. Let's do this for now. Okay. So hearing is back to normal, luckily. I'm doing good on that, but now my food is messed up. I can't catch a break lately. But you know, I don't need the food to stream, so it's kind of it's fine, you know. I'll see how it goes. I kicked into a coffee table earlier this week, and now my food is slowly turning blue. So that's that, I guess. It's been a bit painful to walk. Can't catch a break. Yeah, exactly. So today I just want to do some sound design, get back into it, you know, just mess about for a bit. Well, I was just, you know, I was just walking downstairs. I went to go grab something from the kitchen, and you know, stupid me was like, you know, what do I need a light for? I can just walk to the kitchen in the dark. And, well, I guess I misinterpreted where the coffee table was. And I just slammed my foot into it. And, yeah. That wasn't fun at like, what, 3 a.m. or something. So I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's my. Honestly, I first thought that it was my toe, but I think it's more like something in the middle of my foot or something that is messed up. But I'll see after the weekend if it still feels fucked. Then I'll probably just get it X-rayed or something. But it's already better than it was earlier this week, so I guess might just have to take it easy for a bit, not walk too much. Like I said, good excuse to call into work and be like, hey, I'm sorry, man, but I really cannot come to work today. It's, Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's not the first time I did something like this, you know? I kicked into a door frame once and had like a blue foot for like a week or two. Another time, well, obviously during my skateboarding days, I had it plenty of times when you know the feeling. I'm not sure if there's any skaters in here, but when you do a flip trick and the board lands either on your toe or on the top of your foot, but with the side of the board, like especially during things like 360 flips or something, when the board really spins around quite a bit and it just slams you in the foot. Well, that I had that plenty of times, so I kind of know what it feels like, but you know, I don't know if it's just bruised or if there's like a fracture or something. I don't know. I'll just take it easy, and if it still feels fucked after the weekend, then I'll just go have it checked or something. It is what it is, you know. But of course, it had to happen. and 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 I was like, why didn't I just turn on the light, you know? But I guess that is an afterthought, you know. It's you just start thinking about that after it happened. You need it. Well, that's the thing. Like when I'm wearing my shoes, I can actually walk better. So I'm just wearing my shoes inside the house now because, well, fuck that. I just it makes it easier to walk. I guess because you have like a solid sole underneath your foot as opposed to just walking straight on the ground. I can still cycle. Like, I went to the supermarket on my bike today, so shouldn't be that bad, I hope. I can't cycle like full speed, but I was still able to at least go to the supermarket and then limp from my bike to the supermarket and limp back to my bike. Doesn't help that I have a high pain tolerance as well, you know, that's the other thing. Like, I broke a bone in my foot a long time ago. Actually, the same foot now I think about it. Um, when I was still playing soccer as like a little kid. And I just didn't know it was broken. I just played soccer for like, I think 3 months with pain or something. And every once in a while would be like, my foot hurts. Well, fuck it, I'll just continue. And then like, I think it was years later when I had my knee injury with skateboarding, and I had to get surgery. And I went to the hospital, and they were doing like X-rays and like all kinds of stuff and like scans, and then to check what was wrong with my knee, obviously. And then they were like, you ever knew that that foot has been broken? I was, really? So, you know, I'll get through it. It's not that big of a deal. But it was obviously great timing, you know. I was finally feeling better with my ear, and I was like, damn, finally, I'm back. And then this week, I was done working on Wednesday, and I went home, and I was just, you know, like chilling behind the PC. And I was like, I think it was 2 a.m. or something. I was like, let me go grab a drink downstairs. And I walked downstairs, and obviously I thought, you know, all the lights were off, and I was like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll just walk to the kitchen. I've done that like a million times with the lights off. And suddenly I just slammed my foot into the or into the coffee table, and we have this really, it's like a coffee table with a stone top, so it's like really heavy as well. So it obviously didn't budge at all. It was my foot that budged, but the coffee table didn't. So yeah, now I got a health blue foot. So I guess that's the next thing that we're dealing with. But like I said, you know, I don't need that to stream. I can just keep my foot, you know, raised up a little bit, and we'll be good. But it was a bit annoying, you know? It's more like an inconvenience, I guess, than necessarily a bad thing. I just hope it gets better, you know, over the weekend. I really don't fancy getting my fucking foot in, like, what do you call that? What do you call it in English when you have like a broken foot and they need to put this stuff around it? I know the Dutch word. What is that in English? Um, damn, I can't come up with the word. Somebody in chat help me. Just check with the doctor Monday. Yeah, like I said, if it, you know, I've had plenty of bruised foots as well during my years as a skater, so I kind of know that that usually lasts for like a week or so, and then it gets better. So I'll just check over the weekend if it gets better, and if not, I guess we'll have another trip to the hospital. Okay. I just want to make some sounds today. Just have some fun, mess about. Um, see what we can do. Somebody, what is that called when you have like a broken foot or a broken arm or something? I need to know. I a cast. Exactly, that was the word I was looking for. Like, I really don't fancy walking around with one, but hey, if it has to be that like that, then it has to be like that. But I would rather not. Like I said, I had a broken bone in my foot a while ago, and I never had a cast for that either. So, mm, why is this going behind millimeters? Can we unpin that? Oh yeah, okay, cool. We just do some resampling first, see what happens. If we can find a cool. Sure. Let's just start moving stuff around and then we'll see what happens. Let's go and do... Maybe we'll grab this one. Make a couple of these so that we get some movement. Let's put a saw wave in there as well. Why not? Maybe look a bit of that on there. And let's go and maybe set up like one LFO that just stays the same. Maybe we'll put that on the level as well. Let's add a sub. Let's do some more stuff here. Just so we get some more movement. Maybe we'll add a bit of chorus, why not? Let's add a little bit of this one here as well. Set that up. Let me... That's better. What if we key track this so that it also speeds up on higher notes? That might be cool. Chuck that on here. Maybe I could go 2 ways. Okay. Let's make sure we're not gonna clip on the master. I wish there was a bipolar thing in the right click menu, so I didn't have to let go of the node on my keyboard. happens if we... Okay, let's do some processing on it and see what happens. Let's chuck a vocoder on it. More stuff. Let's see. Let's just close that down. What could be nice? Put a chorus in between here. Let's grab... Let's chuck a bit of that one on here. I can just play this, of course. Let's just... go grab something. I don't know, let's just chuck this on here. Can also just try this. Weird sound. Let's chuck another random on here. If it wants to, come on. doesn't even make much of a change anymore. Okay, yeah. I was like, huh? Why is it quiet? Let's try a weird one. What happens if we put that all the way at start? That one is maybe a bit much. Okay. Weird as sound. You're not even hearing anything of these things now. There's so much stuff going on. Madness. There's some cool stuff happening every once in a while, but okay, so there's a lot coming from here. Kinda sounds boring without it, though. Is that also gonna affect the... I don't think that affects the note thing, does it? Don't think it does. No, I don't think it does. Can we... I mean, we should be able to... pitch bend. Okay, let's make some more sounds. Noise, yeah. Well, it's kind of a weird one, this. How could people do it outside? Like some dude making monkey noises or something. The hell? It's gonna be really quiet. Okay, if we... Pretty sure we can turn this into a beautiful pad. Let's grab a current. I did play C sharp though, but it should be fine because we can just put the root here on C sharp. So can we drag that in? We can. Nice. Let's give it some attack and some release. And then let's chuck this somewhere in the middle maybe. Put some layers in there, no speed. Let's put this one up. Crank that up a bit, maybe back that down a little. Oh yeah, of course, we have to route that through it. Not sure if I like that. Just leave that off. Let's go in here. What else do we have here? Let's see. We can grab anything and just chuck it into that granular thing. Some brass or something. See, some horns. We have something more interesting. Let's see. Go into here. Brass designer. See what we got in there. So if we do bounce, that's a new track. And then we just go in here, chuck that in here. Now we will have something different. Almost sounds like a church organ at times. But a really weird one. Can we change the... Why can we not modulate that? Can we modulate the start time? That would be nice. Sampler... We cannot. Okay. That's stupid. I would like it... Wait. Does that do that? Doesn't look like it. Just starts from the same spot. What is this doing then? Random start. And why is it starting from the same spot? What? It's just starting from the beginning. Well, maybe slightly off from the beginning, but... Huh. Okay. Great intro sound. Yeah, it's kind of like a cool... Let me save that patch because it's kind of a cool patch. I'll just save it in here. I've been messing with a lot of well, for as much as I could, you know, of course, because my hearing was kind of messed up. But I was messing with a lot of sort of like C sharp harmonic minor, I guess. And wait, load. It's lagging. Come on, load up. And it's the same kind of progression that I was just playing. It's kind of a really nice progression, where you start with and then that changes. Sounds really cool. There's a couple of cool things there. You can go C sharp to G sharp, obviously, and then you have to, if you drop that C sharp down to C, on, like I'm playing in the right hand, I'm playing C sharp, G sharp, and then C sharp, E, and then during that E, in the left hand I go from C sharp to C, which is the harmonic minor, of course, and you get that. But I guess you could also do something like that, which is also cool. Couple of things that you could do there. But when you play it with a big pad, it sounds pretty cool. I just wish we could change start position here. That would be nice. It says that it does that, but I mean, it isn't, right? We could see it, it's not, so it's kind of weird. Not sure why. would be nice if it changed there. I guess we can do that in another synth as well. Can we do that in Serum? The only issue with Serum that I have is that it's, especially with pads, it's so fucking CPU intensive. So if we grab a granular thing here, we could chuck you in here. Yeah. I haven't used this one in a while, actually. How do we... I guess we can put it on 0, but I believe there's also manual. Yeah. We can do that. And then offset is, I guess, the random. Now if we have a sample here, chuck you in there. Can we change the start position at random? That's the question. Wait. Start. I guess we can. See, that's what it needs to do. Oh yeah, of course it's also out of tune. Just doesn't sound as big because the effects in current are just so easy to work with when it comes to these kind of sounds. You just chuck on like a couple of those presets from like the delay or the chorus or even the reverb itself, You know, it has a ton of those big sort of like reverbs as well. And it immediately will start sound absolutely massive. Right? Which is kind of nice. I wish the effects in Serum had more like the one thing I don't like is about Serum is that a lot of the effects are pretty basic, and it would be nice if there was like some way, like there are presets for these, but I don't like how they've done this, where you have to click here, go into a menu, and then choose a preset. Whereas if they would just have like some buttons here to sort of like flick through the presets, would be so much easier. Because you can set some of these up to be like really big, right? And I guess there's some presets here as well. But again, it's like you're gonna have to go through all these sub-menus and all those things, which I kind of don't really like. Whereas in Current, for instance, you can literally just go and just click through these presets or even just randomize it, right? And get like a different result really quickly. Which is, somebody was asking about like, did I see the video for the new Omnisphere? And I did. And I actually really like what they are doing there as well with the mutation kind of thing, which, yeah, they did seem to take from Absynth, an old synth. It also had that mutation feature, which is basically just you click a button and it just randomizes the sound sources and all the effects and the parameters within the synth to create a new preset out of the preset you already have, which is amazing, you know? Stuff like that is great because it's just when you don't feel like just designing a patch, you can just open a patch and then just be like, huh, okay, what happens if I click the randomize button? And you just do it a couple of times and suddenly you'll have like a patch that'll be completely different and you'll be like, that sounds kind of interesting. With really no effort at all, right? And I really would love it when more, you know, like synth developers do that kind of stuff. Not that I cannot design a patch, you know, I can. But sometimes it's just, you know, it's just nice to just be able to click a button and just mess with it and see what happens, right? I'm kind of interested to see, maybe I'll upgrade Omnisphere at some point, but it is a little bit of a more expensive plugin, you know? I have actually been going into my Omnisphere. I moved it to a different hard drive. And it is quicker now. I hope. Okay, it's still relatively slow. But it is quicker than it used to be. I have been going through some of the patches and just, you know, like rating them. So that I have at least some patches that I like already rated. Because there are some really amazing patches in there. It's just that it's such a pain to find them most of the time. Like, there's amazing patches in here. Like, especially for like, I guess more like composing stuff, there's some really good stuff in here. There's also a lot of shit though. Like, that's the one issue I have with Omnisphere. There's so many sounds in there, and a lot of them I would never use. But then there's also some stuff in there that is really nice, and as a synth itself, it's kind of cool. Like, it has some really cool features, but at the same time, you know, it's a bit of a pain to work with. Now they have even more sounds. Yeah, exactly. But they did also talk about having changed the browsing of sound. So I'm kind of curious to see what they've done with that, you know? Because that's the main issue with Omnisphere. It's that it has so many sounds that finding the one that you want is such a fucking pain. and it's, you know, it takes really long most of the time. It's like you'll be looking for a sound, and by the time you found something that works, you've kind of lost your idea, you know. Now they do have a feature in Omnisphere that is actually really nice already in the current Omnisphere. Like if you go, let's just see if we find. Okay, maybe not that. Like that's the thing, right? You just here another one of those sounds. Like, what if I just want to have a pad? You know, like I guess we can sort on pads. Okay. Now, they do already have a pretty cool feature, which is this sound match thing, which kind of makes it easier to find stuff. You know, you can go in here and then just match to the current selection, and it will give you a result of like similar sounding patches, which is kind of nice. You know, you can just go like, oh, this is kind of close, but not exactly, and just be like, okay, well, maybe that one. But still, it's kind of a pain to find something, you know. And if it needs to be further away, okay, well maybe somewhere here. See, so it is sort of like usable in a way, but there's just so much stuff in here. So I'm really kind of curious to see what they've done with the browser. Like a lot of stuff that I would use Omnisphere for is more like the, let's see. Let's go into here. Like the ones that I would most of the time use is these texture kind of things. Those are kind of nice. Sort by rating. Like some of these are pretty cool. Just really like more like weird textures and stuff. A lot of these will just instantly set a mood, you know? Which is nice. Like if you kind of just want to have something to immediately set a vibe, and these are really nice, but there's also so many other things that I would never use. Like I would also wish that they would give you an option to just remove things that you don't want. Like for instance, like all these arpeggiated things, like there's a couple of them marked, but most of them I will never use. Like I would never use that anyway, so like let me just say like, yo, this entire category, don't show it, you know? That would be great. Like a lot of the more like, there's a lot of like synth things as well that I would just never use. Like a lot of, okay, there's no plugs, okay. There's also going to be a lot of ones in here that I would just never end up using anyway. Like, what the fuck? Like, I would never use that sound. So, like, it would be great if you could just, you know, just hide things or even completely remove them so they don't take up any space either, but... Actually, I would argue that they should give us the sources. Yeah, well, that's the thing. The Omnisphere has amazing sound sources. That's the thing that I really like about it. Yeah. Like, it has amazing sound sources in here that are really cool. Like, if we go textures or something, you can see I've marked a bunch of them. And that's just a sample, right? So you would be able to go into, I don't know, go into the Granular engine here or something, which I hope that they've updated this as well, because it's kind of a pain to work with most of the time. As good as it is, their effect suite is kind of ugly. Yeah, I agree. But there are some cool effects in it, though. The one that I really liked from it was the, what was it, Inner Space, I believe it was called. That one is kind of interesting. But again, like, browsing through things here is just a pain. Although they have these arrows though, so it's kind of nice. Let's just grab a synth sound or something, see what it does to that. It's nice for just like making atmosphere, which that's the main thing I would use Omnisphere for most of the time. There's going to be more effects. Yeah, I saw that. But yeah, there's so many sounds in here that I would never use. I do have a bunch of extra libraries for it that I kind of like a lot. Which one was it? I believe it was this one. I have a couple of libraries from this company, and they have some pretty nice sounds that I would actually maybe, use. Okay. Not that one. Was it this one? I don't know. It's been so long since I've used Omnisphere. I used to use it a lot more, but don't really use it a lot these days. The soundscapes are kind of nice as well. But again, a little bit less usable, I would say. They're pretty recognizable most of the time. I swear you have Arab genes. Why? Why? Where did that come from? Oh yeah, it's just, you know, harmonic minor, right? It just works. It just works, man. That's the reason. Depending on what kind of vibe you're going for, of course, but why we need some reverb. Like, it just works. There's so much stuff you can do with it compared to like regular minor, or at least I like the sound of it a lot more than regular minor. Like, regular minor has its place as well, and obviously combining harmonic minor and regular minor is nice. Like, if you go, what I was playing earlier, like if I go, that would be harmonic minor. That also. Going there. But then if we go to F sharp minor, then we can still put the B in there, which is then again just a regular minor, leading us back to there, to the dominant 5. So it's really nice. I usually see like the 3 different minor skills, whether it's like natural minor, melodic minor, or harmonic minor, as just one skill, because that makes so much more sense. It just makes a lot more sense if you think about it that way, because there's a lot more flavors if you know, utilize all 3 of them instead of just thinking about like, oh, I'm working in minor. Melodic minor is cool, yeah, it is cool. I don't use it a lot though. I usually forget. I usually forget what makes melodic minor melodic minor. I'll have to look it up again. But I think it's the, what, if we are A minor? Let's see. Yeah, that's it. I remember again. So I guess you take the sixth and make it one semitone higher, and then the seventh as well, right? So instead of that, you would get that. Yeah, exactly. It's just, you know, when you're making chord progressions, it's nice to have like a couple of different options, because you might be like, let's say we're playing in the key of A minor. If we would play D, you would normally get D minor, right? But then you can, if we're melodic minor, it becomes major. So depending on what you're doing, you could grab like a major D chord as opposed to a minor one, and it might sound really cool. And that's the same with harmonic minor. That's just, harmonic minor is where the dominant 5 chord would come from. Like if we're in A minor, and then E would normally be minor, but in harmonic minor you would get A and then E major. And that's that really recognizable sound that a lot of people will recognize from like film music as well, because at least for when you're like listening to film music a lot, that's something you'll hear so many times. But like with the skill that I was playing, which is C sharp minor, I also figured that for some reason putting an F minor in there also sounds really cool. And I don't know where that comes from. Because that F note is not in C sharp minor, but for some reason it does sound really cool. And that's another thing I would often try out, you know, just go to use notes that are not in the scale, and you'll find some really cool progressions as well. Lord of the Rings vibe. Well, that's a movie I didn't watch. People are gonna hate me. You haven't watched it either. Okay, good. I'm not the only one then. See that? F minor just works in there. Not sure why. My music theory is not that great that I know why that works, but it does work for some reason. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna make? More sounds. Let's see, maybe I have some sounds that we can use. I actually been going through some of the folders here, and because I haven't really posted anything on Patreon lately because of the issues with my hearing. I just didn't have any time to work on stuff. But I've been going through some of the folders here, and I marked a bunch of stuff because I have a lot of samples that I made. Some like cinematic like hits and stuff, which I might put on Patreon. I think these, yeah, those were already on Patreon. A lot of resampled stuff though. Got some other ones somewhere. Guess we can put those Reese things on Patreon as well. Why not? Just some atmosphere, whatever. I need to piss. I'm gonna go and take a short bathroom break because I need to take a leak. Although I'm gonna be a little bit slower now because I can't walk up and down the stairs as quickly as I normally do. So I'll be back in just a bit. I'll just let you guys listen to that for a moment. One moment. Okay. I'm back. I made it back up the stairs. I'm gonna go to that view for a bit. That's the most annoying thing right now, is walking up and down the stairs. That's the thing that hurts the most. It's like, walking regularly is fine. Well, kind of fine. I just need to walk a bit slowly, but walking up and down a stair? That's annoying as fuck. But I don't know, like, I can still put, like, weight on it. Like, I can still stand. So, not sure what I did. Well, I know what I did, but I'm not sure what's wrong with my foot. Just don't kick into heavy objects, I guess. What is the date today? 17th. Just so I can save some of the things later. Yeah, I do hope my foot gets better over the weekend. I really don't fancy having to go into the hospital. I really don't look forward to something like that. But hey, if it has to happen, then it has to happen, I guess. Okay, should we just make something? And how late is it? 11:14. Let's just make something. I don't know what, but I kind of feel like we're a bit in the cinematic vibe now, so might as well make something. I have saved a bunch of. Been saving a bunch of these legato patches so I can load them up easier. Let's see, which one do I like? Yeah, they are really nice. I really like these as well. I use this one a lot. This one. Just. Let's see. Let's set up a little vibe. See if we can come up with something. Let me search for. I don't know. Let's search for clock. See if we can find a ticking clock sample. I mean, that is a ticking clock. I had some atmosphere earlier that I saw in this folder. Where is it? Because that one sounded pretty cool. Where is that? It was called brass something, I believe. Of course, I can't find it now. Okay, it was not called brass. Atmosphere, maybe? Oh, what did I call them? I thought they were called brass. I'm gonna find them though. Let's see. Now they should be in here. I had them earlier. I had them open. Ah, this one. Oh yeah, it's loading, of course. I guess just... Or... that maybe. I really like this library as well. Wasn't it you, Angelite, who told me about this one? I love this butterfly patch. Yeah, exactly. It works really well on drones. Let's see. Let's just come on. There we go. Don't really care for the last part. I like that as well. Let's see if we can do something with that. Let's just mute this. What timing are we gonna do? Let's just use that. Let's keep this for later. Where's the reverb? Let's just grab that one, chuck it on here. Oh, it doesn't go lower. Let me just put utility on it so it's louder. I think I like the horns most. Oh. Didn't want to do that. Can I just select all of these? Of course not. Oh, yes, we can. But why are you moving? Okay, that works. Like, what would that skill even be? Like, it still sounds like it is based in C sharp, but... Hmm? I'm thinking what that would be. Would it be that? It has like a flat 5, but then also the regular 5. I guess it has, yeah. guess it has that. What is that? I'm not sure if it's the double harmonic minor. No, double harmonic would be different. Let's have a little look. So we got C sharp, we got D sharp, and we got E, and then we have G sharp, but we also have G, and then we want that, and we don't want to exact match because I don't know if this would be called D flat or C sharp. That kind of depends on the scale. So let's just do that. Is there something in C sharp? C sharp, Dorian sharp 4. I was like, where's the G then? But that's an F double sharp, which I guess makes it G. It is kind of like a minor scale, but then with a flat 5 in it as well. And then why can't you just call it, make it easier? A sharp and B. Do I hear an A sharp in here? Oh. Yes. But I'm also hearing a C in here. That would be cool. So what if we just add C in here as well? See what happens. See if it gives us something. I'm kind of curious, you know? C sharp diminished Lydian. That's interesting. Like, I guess a double harmonic could work, but then it's in a different key. I do kind of like the what we had earlier. What did it say? C sharp. This one is kind of cool as well. It's kind of an interesting skill. I don't think I use that a lot. That's also similar to what I was playing with earlier. Holy shit, that's a weird one. It has like... has 4 notes right next to each other on the piano. That's kind of interesting. It has A, G sharp, G, and F sharp. Why does that last note have no vibrato? Can we bring that up? Because it's really subtle. Huh? What the fuck? Look at that. I can select the top note, but I cannot select the... Huh? Is it because it's outside of the clip? That's fucking weird. Okay, what? What? Do you have performance sample specific? No. Yeah, I'm not liking the piano too much either. Let's see. I do have this one as well. Just grab that and then now I want to see what that is. Performance, what do you say? Performance sample specific. Gonna make me buy more libraries? They have a bunch of them, I see. They have strings, brass. I've actually never heard of that one. I've actually never heard of the company. How you just to be fair. I'll keep that open in a tab. There's a free cello, solo cello. Definitely get that. Okay, cool. I'll check it out after the stream. Not sure if we're actually gonna end up making something nice today. But hey, at least it's good to be back streaming a little bit. I found this this one is also free. I found this reverb plugin that actually sounds really cool. What could be good to check it out on? Let's see what it sounds like on the vocal. I found this reverb, which is free. It's by the company Variety of Sound that also made the what was it again that they made? Variety of Sound. Wait, what? It's not in my... Oh, my bad. Still got some tags selected. Fucking hell, Ableton, come on. Variety of Sound. Oh, I only have this reverb. They made some other plugins. Was it that Russian compression emulator, that Molot something, I believe? This reverb actually sounds pretty cool. Oh, we're on a different track. Yeah, it's a really nice reverb actually. For free reverb. So definitely check this one out. They have another one as well, which is a plate reverb. Which is this one. Don't really use this one a lot, but the clouds one is really nice. I really enjoy the sound of that one. And it can get pretty long as well, 60 seconds, so you can also use it for making like big atmospheres. And we're actually still on the eco quality. Let's go to the high quality. Like, that's pretty nice, actually. Pretty good sounding. I believe it's trying to emulate some kind of device, but I forgot what it is. That sounds pretty nice. I don't know about the other one. The plate one. I haven't really used that one too much, to be honest. Huh. It's okay. Kind of goes long though. That's still pretty nice, actually. But this one, I found this one. I was like, hey, that one sounds really cool. So check that out. Little tangent. There's like, I've got so many reverb plugins now. Still, one of my favorites is the particle reverb. This one, even though it's kind of an odd one, but because it's more like a weird granular kind of reverb in a way. But it has its own use cases. I don't really use it for a lot of things. It has like... It's kind of interesting though, with the chorus. I guess you can make more like shimmery reverbs with this one. It is a grain delay, yeah. It's kind of like a grain delay and then like some diffusion on top of it, which I guess is some reverb, indeed. But it does end up doing some pretty weird shit. I believe when we bring this up, it gets really weird. I was using it weeks ago on a bass, I believe, and I brought this up, and I was like, "What the fuck?" It actually made a weird tone. Obviously, it won't do that now, but... I guess it's just like the shape of the grains, the volume shape, but I was messing with it and I upped this a lot and then it suddenly created a really weird tone, which was really interesting, but I forgot how I did that. It's kind of interesting though. Why is my Ableton not... Oh, we're gonna have that time of year again, guys. There's people firing fireworks outside. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it quits for tonight. I'm getting a little bit tired. Yeah, we're gonna near the end of the year, so we're gonna have people firing fireworks again, and I am gonna try to stream on New Year's Eve if I have the chance, because why not, you know? But this year might get absolutely crazy. So here in the Netherlands, fireworks at midnight local time? Well, yeah, usually yes. But in recent years, there have been an increasing amount of incidents surrounding New Year's Eve, and like it's the classic story of a whole bunch of dumb fucks wasting or how do you say it? Not wasting, ruining the party for the rest. You know. And there's basically, well, we usually have like a lot of fireworks around New Year's Eve, and it's a tradition here in the Netherlands to buy fireworks as a consumer and then fire them with New Year's Eve. Now, when I was a young kid, that was already a thing, and my dad would buy like big, um, like these big flower pots that shoot up in the sky and then create like a bouquet in the air, stuff like that, like some rockets and stuff like that. And I would have like some fireworks that just bang, basically just to throw and they'll give a small bang. But obviously, there has been an increasing amount of people that are buying fireworks from overseas that are basically illegal here because they want to get louder and louder, basically. And then there's also a lot of people that, um, you know, decide it's cool to blow shit up. And that has always been a thing, but it has been getting a lot worse over the last years. And on top of that, and this is the worst part, I believe, that this is kind of the reason why they're cracking down on it now, is some stupid dumb fucks, because that's what they are, think it's a good idea to start throwing fireworks at police, at um, firemen, like if the fire brigade has to come because something is on fire, or if somebody is injured and they need to be picked up by an ambulance, they think it's fun to throw fireworks at those people. Plus, back when I still had a dog, like luckily my dog was always frightened with New Year's Eve. And when I was a kid, it was really, well, we had this thing in our group of friends, and I believe a lot of people of my age did the same thing. That when somebody would come and walk into the street or wherever we were with fireworks with a dog, we would shout to each other, guys, dog, and we would stop. We would just wait until the dog was gone, basically. But nowadays, a lot of kids will just think it's funny that the dog is frightened and they will throw up more fireworks, which is kind of like how the mentality has changed. But now, in recent years, there's been a lot of incidents surrounding New Year's Eve where just people that, do jobs like police, fire brigade, ambulance, those kind of people will get fireworks thrown at them and all that kind of stuff. And now the government has said, we're gonna stop this. We're not gonna allow fireworks anymore, except for organized fireworks shows. But it wouldn't be the Dutch government if they would be slow as fuck with it and be like, that is gonna go into effect next year. So obviously this year, people are gonna go absolute mayhem. Like, that's the stupidity of the Dutch government. Like, I don't really care, I don't really fire fireworks. I get why people like it, but it's just being ruined by people that, can control themselves. And I think a large part is also that, it's the mix of fireworks and alcohol. People are drunk. But like, the Dutch government is also like, if you're gonna forbid it, then just forbid it straight away. Don't go and don't basically announce it and be like, yo, it's going to be illegal next year. Which obviously is gonna make the people go, let me buy extra fireworks for this year, Plus, I also don't know what it's gonna happen, like next year. Like, so it's gonna be forbidden, and then what? Like, there's countries all around us where you can still buy it, so, which is kind of also the problem right now, like people buy fireworks in like Belgium or Germany or in Poland, which is like much heavier fireworks than what we have here. And that is kind of what is already going on for years now. And it's not like the police has any time to do anything about it, So, like, they're gonna forbid it, they're gonna make it illegal, but then what? Like, you're gonna have to enforce it for it to actually work. So, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I believe this year it's gonna go absolutely nuts. Yeah, exactly. Let me test that. Exactly. Like, either don't announce it and wait until next year, and then suddenly after New Year's Eve, like let's say the 3rd or the 4th of January or something, you just go, so that was it. This year, no fireworks, you know? Stuff like that. There's no fireworks sales anymore. But don't go like, hey, or you know, or just go like it's illegal starting right now, basically. That could also be an option, right? But don't go like, yeah, so we're going to make it illegal next year. So this year it's still legal. Like that's only going to make people want to, you know, do it one more time and then go big, you know? So I don't know what's gonna happen. It might be impossible to stream. They would get yelled at by neighbors in the US if they did that. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's a bigger example of how a lot of things have changed here. Like you notice it in so many things in life these days. It's like the respect of people towards others has changed. Like back in the day, people would actually have respect for each other even if you didn't know each other. But these days that's completely different. Like when I take a subway train, for instance, and you arrive at the subway station, back in the day it would be normal for you to just wait next to the door so that the people on the train could get off first. These days the doors open and somebody on the station itself just comes blasting in, pushing you aside, and I'm like, what the fuck, mate? Let people get off first, you know? Like, and it's a larger testament of what is happening in Dutch society, I believe. There's a lot of lack of respect at the moment. And that kind of you see that in everything, you know, like when there's protests, there's always gonna be issues with violence around protest. People just they can't just protest, you know, like without violence. They just have to get violent for some reason. And I'm like, you're not gonna make your point and actually get what you want if you do that, right? But hey, it's just madness. I wish it wasn't the case, but and then of course like social media involves influences the whole thing with like New Year's Eve as well because kids think you know they get a you get clicks when you blow something up and post it online, right? So they'll only get worse and worse because they want to I guess just over well I guess they want to do bigger than the previous one that blew up, right? The blew up. I mean, that's no pun intended, or maybe it is intended, but you get what I mean, right? Like they will just try and one up each other, and it has gotten pretty out of hand. And now the Dutch government is just like, "Yo, we're gonna put a stop to this." But I don't see the government putting a stop to it, honestly, unless fireworks sales in general will be banned throughout the entire EU. But then still, it's gonna be the case of like, okay, well, then they're gonna import it from China or something, you know? So like, it's so difficult to even fight something like that. So I don't know what is gonna happen. But I do know that this year it's probably gonna go absolutely crazy. And it's now what mid October, and I'm still well, I'm already hearing fireworks pretty regularly right now. So I guess we're gonna see. And I don't mind, you know, like just do like some organized fireworks shows. I don't mind, you know. Why not? Just go do some fireworks show in the middle of the city, you know, on the river. Have like a big event around it where people can come together. I don't see the problem, you know. But then there's also the group of people that are gonna be like, well, they're taking our tradition away, and those kind of people, you know. So I'm like, meh, really? Is it really our tradition? I mean, it's not like we've been doing this for hundreds of years or something, you know? It's like something that kind of started um, in the last century, and now people are going to be like, oh, they're taking our tradition away. But honestly, you know, it's still quite a relatively new tradition. So But yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll see. It's not like they can buy more fireworks at the local fireworks stores though, like the stores that will sell fireworks, because they just buy, they just order at basically a year ago, so they've just got the same amount that they always have. Um, so I think there's just going to be an increase of like illegal fireworks. So we'll see. We the Dutch people been buying those Chinese fireworks since thousands of years. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I genuinely think that that is what goes on in the brain of some of those people, you know? Like I don't really want to get too much into politics these days. Politics is absolutely messed up here. So I don't really want to, but it is usually, the people on the right side of the political spectrum that are whining about the traditions being taken away. The same thing with the whole well, there was this whole event that we had. We still have it, but it's gotten a lot less popular in recent years. In December, at the start of December, I believe in English it's called Saint Nicholas. We had this figure that was basically doing a blackface. Honestly, like I don't want to beat around the bush, but it's kind of bad, when you see it. let me let me let me show you for anybody who is not Dutch. Like I grew up with it as well, so I kind of get the whole thing. But let's see. Like that's kind of bad in it, you know. I don't want to. I get where people are coming from that are saying like, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't do that." And then there's gonna be all the people on the right, who are gonna go absolutely crazy. Yo, they're taking our tradition away. Blah, blah, blah. It has nothing to do with racism. And I'm like, well, why does she have hoop earrings and black face paint and curly black hair and clothing that kind of reminds you of like certain cultures? Like, what's up with that then? you know? Yeah, exactly. To an outsider, somebody who looks at that, they're gonna be like, "Hey, that's kind of racist." So yeah, and it's the same people who are now complaining about fireworks being taken away, and we're probably gonna go absolutely crazy with fireworks. I'm gonna, like, again, like I said, I don't really want to get too much into politics, but we have elections coming up this month, and last time this sort of like extreme right wing party that was running on uh deporting illegal people and deporting immigrants, they won. They became the biggest. They completely messed up though. Nothing has actually happened because nobody wanted to work with them. So now we're gonna have elections again. I don't know what's gonna happen. I sincerely hope that he's gonna lose a lot because I don't want to have another 4 years, or well, it wasn't 4 years, it was about a year. They didn't even last like much longer than a year. Um, but basically, the whole country has been at a standstill in terms of like issues that need to be solved. So I don't want to see I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen now. But on the other hand, we've been having a lot of anti-immigration protests lately, and like there's so much bullshit, like people that are gonna be like, well, yeah, sure, if there's war, or like war immigrants, they need to be helped, like if there's refugees. But then when they hear that there's gonna be a refugee center being built in their town, then suddenly they're gonna go out and protest, And I'm like, they have to go somewhere, right? And in the meantime, everything is just becoming more and more of a shit show. And of course, the right wing politicians are gonna run on that. They're gonna be like, "See, the people want to get rid of them too." I guess we'll see. You know. So now everything is gonna happen at once. You know, we have the last time that they can fire fireworks. We're gonna have elections right before that. Um, there's all the issues with like the anti-immigrant protests happening right now. I don't know. Things are not looking too great out here. Anyways, I'll be back next week, hopefully, if my hearing is fine. It has been fine actually for the last week and a half, I would say. So I hope it stays that way. This Trump persona is contagious. Yeah, it's a lot of like this same kind of politics kind of stuff that is happening in the U.S. that is kind of blowing over to Europe, and it's kind of the same kind of sentiment. Um, there's like a couple of parties that we have that are kind of running on that same kind of rhetoric, you know, of like deporting immigrants and like the immigrants are not the source of the issues here. You know, the source of the issues is the years and years of the government being way too lax and the government not doing what they should be doing. You know, they've been trying to please big companies and completely neglecting things such as housing, people's wages, and a lot of these things are why, you know, the issues have become the thing that they are today. You know, why we have such an insanely crazy housing crisis. It's because they've completely destroyed the housing market over the last, let's say, 2 decades. And now there's a couple of parties that are getting a lot of votes. At least they did in the last election. So I don't know what's going to happen now because it's at the end of this month that we're going to have new elections. But these are basically blaming the problems on the immigrants, which is not the case. You know, the immigrants are just making the problems that already exist a little more visible, you know, because they're putting even more pressure on the systems that are having issues. Um, so, sure, yeah, sure, if you would completely stop all immigrants from coming in the country, there would be a little bit less pressure on the system, such as like the housing market and things like that. But it's not going to solve the underlying problems, you know? And at the same time, we have a hugely increasing, how do you say that? The demographics in our society are changing a lot. Like there's a lot of elderly people, and there's going to be a lot more elderly people in the next 10 years. And there's almost no people getting children because of, you know, the economy being really bad, or well, not really bad, but you know, things have gotten a lot more expensive, and the housing market is absolute mess. So people are just not getting children; they're not starting families. So at this point, you would actually need people to come into your country to keep the economy afloat for the next 10, 20 years. So it's going to be kind of a weird situation. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I hope my foot actually heals. That's the main thing right now. I hope I can stay out of the hospital for after the weekend, but hey, we'll see. I don't know what our birth rate is at the moment, but it's not great. It's not great. What was the birth rate again that you needed to have a healthy sort of like society in terms of like there's a specific value. I forgot what it is, but was it like two? The current birth rate here in the Netherlands is 1.43 births per woman. And that's a number from 2023, so that's already outdated. Yeah, I believe it was 2 as well. So we're at 1.43, and it is going down. It has been going downhill for a while. What the hell happened here? We actually were at like 3, and then it went down all the way here. It went a little bit back up around the 2000s, which kind of makes sense. But then since 2010, it's just been declining, and it's still going down. So, like I said, at this point, you kind of need people to come into your country. But don't tell a lot of the right-wing voters that, because they're gonna go absolutely crazy. Yeah, it is mostly just, the combined issues that we have. It's really difficult to find a house. The price of a house is absolutely through the roof. Like, my parents, they bought a house in, I believe it was the mid 80s or the early 80s. I believe they spent something like 90K on their house. And I'm not even sure if that was in euros. That might even have been in our old currency, which was, like 90K Dutch guilders would be what, like 45K euros, something like that. So somewhere in between there, 45K to 90K euros is what they paid for their house, something like that. These same houses that they live in now sell for what, like 400 to 500,000. So like that's kind of a big problem, And then the wages of people have not really increased with the same amount. Like I believe I looked it up once. I looked it up once, and it was like the prices of houses have increased by 1,000% since the 80s. And the wages have increased with like 150%. So like, yeah, of course there's gonna be problems. Like, what else do you expect? And then you get the inflation on top and all those things, like, yeah, it's gonna lead to problems. But there's also a lot of stupid people, so I can't really expect people to vote with knowledge, Like there's a lot of politicians that run on like rhetoric that is just, they're not really, they're just saying shit because they know it gets them votes. Like, people see like, oh, there's people coming into a country and I cannot get a house, so I'm gonna vote for the politician that blames the immigrant. It's an easy scapegoat, right? But it isn't really the source of the problems. Yeah, exactly. It's the same out here, though. It's the same out here. Like, at this point, renting is the only option, but at this point, due to the high housing crisis, renting has also become kind of impossible because of the crazy prices. Like, you'll have like this really, especially in the big cities. It's easier in the countryside, but you'll have like in the big cities, you'll have like this really shitty house with like mold growing behind the wallpaper, and leakage in your bathroom and all that kind of shit. And then the house owner is gonna rent it out, and they're gonna be like, yeah, so the price is 2,000 euros. You're like, what the fuck, mate? Are you absolutely out of your mind? But that's the state it is in right now, because there's almost no, like we had this thing. I believe they they completely broken it during like the 2010s, maybe even earlier. We had this really well working like system of social housing, which is just government funded housing basically, and you would be able to get like houses for relatively affordable prices. And because there was a lot of availability as well, the owners of the houses also had to make sure, like the corporations that own these houses also had to make sure that they were kept up well, you know, that they were actually maintained. But now there's like nothing available anymore. The whole sort of like social housing program has kind of been destroyed. A lot of the corporations have sold the houses because it wasn't viable anymore to rent it out due to legislation that the government also made. You know, they made laws and that kind of destroyed the entire renting sort of like market. And because there's now a very big scarcity, the prices of rental houses has gone up significantly. So it's like, how are you gonna solve that? You know? And then, well, you could solve it, right, by building new houses. That's the main thing. You would just start building a shitload of houses. Exactly the same thing as what they did after the Second World War, where they built like a ton of houses during the 1950s, and the prices of houses went down, and it was suddenly very affordable for people to buy a house or to rent a house. But now we have the issue of climate change. And because of the regulation against climate change and emissions, they cannot build anything. So it's kind of like this, we've got this one issue that is being held back by another issue, and then that issue is held back by another issue. And then in the meantime, there's a bunch of politicians blaming a couple of immigrants that are coming to our country, you know? So yeah, it's a mess. Who's gonna pay that? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's the reason why there's a growing amount of young people leaving the country, you know? There's a growing amount of people in the Netherlands that are of my age and like a little younger that are just leaving the country. They're just going to like places in, you know, like Southern America or like in Asia or just places where it's more affordable and where there's actually a lot of houses available and where there's jobs available. And I can't blame them, you know? I can't blame them. Like I would actually get more and more into that way of thinking as well because the issues have been going on for so long now. I don't see them being fixed anytime soon. Anyways, I'll be in the Discord. Um, I hope I can stream again next week. If I do, I'll try and do it around 9 p.m. MSM time. I'll try and be there. I'll let you know how things went with the foot. I hope things are gonna get better. I'm actually gonna look and see if my foot has turned purple yet. Earlier today I took a shower and I could actually see that it's starting to turn a little blue. So we're gonna see how bad it gets. I hope it recovers soon. And if not, you know, I'll just check it out. I'll just probably get an X-ray. And hopefully remind myself to not kick into a coffee table again. So thanks for being here. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.